A man in a $1,000 suit gets rejected for a promotion, walks into a locked room, and beats a stranger half to death just to feel powerful again. The terrifying part is that Mr. Robot doesn't frame this as a random explosion. It frames it as Tyrell's most honest moment. Tyrell Wellick has just been denied the one thing he has built his identity around, the CTO job at E-Corp. He didn't just want that title. He rehearsed for it, tailored himself for it, treated every conversation like a campaign stop on the way to it. And the person who beat him isn't some genius rival. It's an older company man who fits the machine better. That's what makes this moment matter. Tyrell walks in carrying humiliation, envy, class anxiety, and the panic of a man who suddenly realizes his performance of perfection wasn't enough. What follows isn't just violence. It's the show exposing the emotional engine under his polished exterior.
Mr. Wellick, we're here. Think I could have 300 this time? Spoken like a true capitalist.
What Martin Wallstrom does here is make Tyrell feel split in two. Before the attack, his body still carries that executive control. Measured steps, composed face, almost ceremonial calm. But none of that calm feels real. It feels held together by force. Then the mask drops and the performance becomes almost animal. The grunts, the heavy breathing, the sudden loss of elegant speech. All of it matters because Tyrell usually treats language as a weapon. In this scene, words fail him. He can't negotiate his humiliation away, can't charm it, can't outdress it. So the only thing left is pure physical domination. And even then, the most revealing part isn't the hitting itself. It's the release afterward. The deep inhale. Those sounds make the scene much uglier because they suggest relief. He isn't just angry, he's regulating himself through violence. That's what makes the performance so unsettling. Tyrell doesn't look like a man surprised by what he did. He looks like a man returning to the one thing that still makes emotional sense to him.
Bad day at the office? No kidding.
The writing is smart because it refuses to give Tyrell a big speech. A weaker scene would explain his psychology out loud. Mr. Robot does the opposite. It lets the humiliation from the boardroom hang over everything, then cuts to a completely different social space where status can be rebuilt with brute force. That contrast is the point. In the corporate world, Tyrell has to smile, flatter, and absorb rejection. In this room, he can turn rejection into action. The victim's line, "Please, enough, no more," is brutally simple, and that's why it lands. Tyrell has just heard his own ambitions shut down in polished executive language. Now the scene strips language down to pain and pleading. Direction does the same thing. The framing keeps the encounter intimate and ugly rather than stylish. There is no heroic release, no cool action movie distance. The camera traps Tyrell inside the consequences of his need to dominate. And because this happens so early in the series, it works like a hidden character thesis. Before the plot gets more complicated, the show tells you exactly what kind of man he is when the world denies him the identity he thinks he's earned.
more.
This scene still gets talked about because it defines one of Mr. Robot's central ideas. Power in this world is never clean. The people in hoodies in dark rooms aren't the only dangerous ones. The polished corporate climbers can be just as unstable, just better at hiding it under etiquette. Tyrell is scary because he understands systems, hierarchy, image, and ambition. And underneath all of that is a bottomless need to prove he matters. That's why the scene feels bigger than one outburst. It turns him into a living argument about masculinity tied to status. If he can't be validated from above, he'll create validation below by humiliating someone weaker. That's not just personal pathology, it's a distorted version of the same logic that runs through the corporate ladder he worships. And that's why the scene feels so purely Mr. Robot. The show is obsessed with surfaces, brands, titles, passwords, identities, masks, and this is one of the first moments where a character's surface tears open completely. Tyrell doesn't become someone else here. He becomes legible. The violence isn't a detour from who he is. It's the clearest translation of who he already was. That's why this scene hits so hard. It turns Tyrell's private shame into his truest form of self-expression. Mr. Robot isn't saying the suit hides the monster. It's saying the suit is part of how the monster survives. If you want more deep dives like this, subscribe and tell me which Mr. Robot scene I should break down next.